Okay, so today it's time for another transparent display, but this time it's the plain old LCD display, but I mean it's transparent, so it's much better than the standard LCD display because it just looks cool. And I will show you how to use it with Arduino and display your own images and a maple leaf symbol. I mean, I'm sure your project needs a maple leaf symbol, right? So let's go back in time because this project started with this. I found a clock with transparent display on AliExpress, and after looking at it for a while, I was wondering if it's possible to buy a transparent LCD display. And you know the answer. I have found this one from Crystal Funds, and they were kind enough to send me a kit which is pretty well packed, and it looks like it has all the components already connected. So let me try to quickly unpack it without disconnecting anything. And there is the transparent display connected to some breakout board, and that one is connected to the Arduino UNO, actually Arduino UNO clone from Seed Studio. And I'm quite aware of this UNO because it's quite special. It has a switch that allows you to change between 5V and 3.3V logic, and I'm pretty sure that this display needs a 3.3V, so that's the reason why you cannot use just a standard UNO, which usually runs at 5V. So let's connect the UNO to the USB power supply, and there is something happening on the screen. All the tab icons are displayed and there are some animations playing on the display. But since this is still a standard LCD display, it takes some time to update the screen, to flip or actually to rotate those liquid crystals, and for that reason, some of those animations are kind of blurry. But once you display something for a while, like the logo, it's perfectly clear. Again, on the top of the display is the row with different icons that you can use for your project. Some of them are quite useful, some of them are, let's say, questionable, but it's still a nice touch to have the graphical display in combination with the segmented LCD display. And by the way, that blue line on the LCD, I think it's actually on the protective foil as a reminder to remove it. So let's just remove the foil, and there seems to be one on the front side as well as one on the back side, and now it looks much better. So let me show you how to use that display with this Arduino board and show some custom images. And the great thing about this display is that it has the resolution of 128 by 64 pixels, which is the same resolution that I have used for many of my other projects. So I actually have a lot of different images that I can try to show on this display. By the way, one more thing before we start, if you do like transparent displays, I have a few videos with transparent OLED displays. I will make sure to put those links into the description. And if you like transparent things in general, I have recently published a video with the transparent PCB, so you can take a look as well. Anyway, back to our project. And let's start by opening the product page for this display. It has the information about the display size, as well as some optical characteristic. It's stating what we already know, that it should work with the 3.3V logic maximum, so we cannot use the 5V UNO. Some more information, some information about the used driver chip, which is the ST7565P, that will be handy later on. Some data sheets which I don't think that we need, but what we do need is this demo code repository on GitHub. So let's open it. And here is the Arduino source code, and it's actually not just a single INO file, but more files. So let me actually go to the main page and download everything as a zip file. Then unpack this zip file and open the Arduino source code. Then go to Tools, Board, and select the Arduino UNO board. And since I already have the UNO board connected, I can also select the port, which will most likely be the highest one. In my case, that's the COM number 22. But before we upload this sketch to the Arduino UNO board, we need to make sure that the correct display is being selected because this sketch is made for multiple displays. You can see that we can use any of those displays. So we need to go into the lcd-low.h file and make sure that the U4 is being selected, so U4 is set to 1, which seems to be the case. So let's hit the upload button to compile this sketch and upload it to the Arduino UNO board. Once this sketch is uploaded, we do see all the status icons on top, as well as the logo and some information about the display. I don't think there will be anything else happening, which is kind of strange because I thought that this would be the very same sketch that was pre-installed on UNO. But maybe there are some settings in the INO file, so let's take a closer look. And indeed, when we look at the source code into the INO file, there are some more functions for drawing more stuff on the display. So let's keep scrolling down. And here is a section called Setup Demos, and only the first one is set to 1. So let's see what happens if we set all of them to 1, like so, and let's try to upload it one more time. And indeed, now we see the very same demo that was running on the UNO from the beginning, and actually I think that we see even more. Some of those line drawings were not part of the original demo. And there is even this part of gradually setting the contrast of those individual pixels, which is kind of nice. Now at this point, I want to try to do two things. The first thing would be displaying my own image, and the second thing is that I want to show those individual icons one by one, because I don't think that was a part of the demo. I mean, at some point all of those icons were hidden and then they were displayed, but I don't think I've seen them displayed one by one. But again, for now, let's start by displaying a custom image. It seems like the current image, the current logo is being stored inside this images.h file, but there are multiple different images based on the selected display. But we already know that we've used this display, so just search for this string inside the images.h file. So most likely this image is being displayed. And we can tell that this is most likely a full screen image because it has 1024 bytes. And just because the display is 128 by 64 pixels, we would need this many pixels or this many bits. And if we divide it by 8, we get to the very same number, which is the number of bytes required to store a full screen image. Now on the top of the H file, there is a link to the application for converting images to the C-style arrays. But what I usually like to do is to use this image to CPP website. And there is one nice function. It can not only convert images into the C-style array, but it can also convert C-style array back into images. So we can go back into the Arduino sketch and select the data for our image. So select all those individual bytes from the beginning to the very end of the array, like so, and copy it into the clipboard. And then on the image to CPP website, let's just paste the data in here, set the resolution to be 128 by 64 pixels, and then we can try to click the read as horizontal, and we see some image in here. If we click read as vertical, it looks kind of wrong, so we should use the first option. But the whole image seems to be flipped, so we can try to click flip vertically, and now it seems to be fixed. So that's something to keep in mind when converting our own images into the C-style array. And let's actually do that. Again, I have a lot of images to choose from. I will go, for example, with this one. And let's also flip it vertically like the original image, and then click the generate code and copy all those individual bytes into the clipboard, like so. And then replace this data in here. And I think that we are missing one of those opening brackets. Okay, so with the change like this, I will go back into the UNO file and look for the demo selection, because this time I only want to show the logo. Actually, it will not be logo, but it should be our image. Like that, and then try to upload it to the Arduino board. And indeed, we see our custom image on this transparent LCD display. Now, one thing that I've noticed is that those pixels are most likely not squares, because those gauges should be circles, but they are just slightly stretched. And of course, we can find this information in the documentation. So here is the actual size of those individual pixels. Just something to keep in mind if your design has circles or squares, knowing that those will not end up as true circles and true squares. Anyway, let's move on, because I want to see if we can show those status icons one by one. And if you look at the Arduino code, there is a function called setStaticIndicators, and I think that that's the one we are looking for, which requires a 16-bit number. So let's just copy this into the clipboard. And then I think that inside the setup function, once everything is initialized, we can just set those indicators one by one. For that, we of course need some variable that will hold those individual bits. And let's use the very same type of the 16-bit variable and call it indicators. And if this would be 8-bit variable, we could set those individual bits by typing capital B and then typing individual bits, so zeros and ones, like so. But I don't think that's possible for 16-bit variable, so we have to use a different function, and that function is called the bit set. That's the Arduino function for setting one individual bit to 1. So we will say that the indicators equals bit set of the indicator on some position I, and then because we have 16 different positions when the bit can be 1, let's put this inside the for loop, like so. And let's actually start by setting the indicator to 0, so all bits will be zeros. Then we will set one of those bits to be 1. And then we will call our function setStaticIndicators with the parameter being indicators. And let's wait, for example, half the second, so 500 milliseconds. So if everything is correct, this code should light up those indicators one by one. So let's try that. Let's upload it to the Arduino board. And we can see those indicators showing one by one. Now, what I think is kind of interesting is that some of those icons are made from multiple segments. Let me restart the Arduino board and run it one more time. And the volume icon seems to be made from 2 segments, and the battery icon is made from 4 segments. So even when it looks like that we only have 12 icons, we still have 16 different segments. Now at this point, I would like to try one more thing, and that is to see if I can use this display together with the U8G2 library. The U8G2 library is a library for monochrome displays, and if we can use that one, that will open a new world of possibilities. And if we open the GitHub page for the U8G2 library and then click this link, there is a list of all the supported displays and all the supported chips. So let's see if our chip is in there, and if we open the product page for the LCD display and again the electronic part, this is the used chip, the Citronix ST7565P. So just copy the name of the chip and try to search for it, and there's actually no results found. So let's try to do the same thing but without the P at the end of the chip name, and we are more lucky this time. So there are multiple displays with these chips that's being supported by the U8G2 library. Unfortunately, none of them is from this brand, from the Crystal fonts, so I think that we will go one by one and see if any of those works with our display. Now for every single display there are a dozen different initializations. Our display uses the SPI connection, so we'll be looking for the hardware SPI, actually 4-wire hardware SPI, and then we have this number 1, 2 and F. The 1 and 2 are for the page mode and the F is for the full screen buffer mode. So we will be searching for the F4-wire hardware SPI connection, for example this one. Now if you have never used the U8G2 library, you need to go to Libraries and search for the U8G2 and install the library, which is this one. And then we can go to File, Examples, search for the U8G2 and select the full frame buffer, and for example start with the Hello World example. Now inside this sketch there are a dozen different initializations. I will delete most of them, actually all of them except for one. And even that one I will still keep commented out, because again we want to try this initialization instead. So let's just paste it in here, and we want to set the rotation, for example R0, and then we need to define some pins, being the CS, the DC and the reset pin. And up to this point I wasn't actually connecting anything, because the display was already connected to the UNO board. But if we open the documentation for the display, actually this blog post, there is some connection outline which is in here. And I think that we can use that as the starting point, so let's just copy this connection into our Arduino sketch. And we see that the chip select is connected to pin number 10, so let's just change it in here as well. The data comment pin is connected to pin number 8, and then the optional reset pin, that's being connected to pin number 9. The 3.3 volt will go into the 3.3 volt and the ground will go into the ground. That kind of makes sense. But then we have two more pins, being the pin D11 and D13 on the Arduino board, which are unfortunately not labeled, but those are quite important pins. If we open the UNO pinout, those pins 13 and 11 are actually used for the SPI connection. So those pins are for the SPI connection. The 13 is a clock pin and the 11 is the data pin. And those pins are not defined in this initialization because those are hardware SPI pins, so you cannot change them, and it looks like that the current wiring already uses those pins, so we don't have to change anything, we can just upload this sketch to the Arduino board. And we have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is of course that the entire display is black. The good news is that if I restart the Arduino, for a very small fraction of the time you can actually see the Hello World message in here. I mean, it's very hard to see because it's only a fraction of a second, but something is happening. So maybe what we can do is to try a different initialization. And I've already done that. I've used this one, which wasn't working either. So let's jump to the next one, which is this one called 64128N. And again search for the F4-wire hardware SPI initialization, so that's this line. and just paste it in there and use this other part for the initialization, and of course comment out the first one and then try to upload it one more time. And this time it seems to be working. We see the hello world message. I mean, it seems to be rotated by 180 degrees, but that could be easily solved inside the initialization for setting the rotation of the display. So let me do one last step, and that is to show different images on this display using the U8G2 library. That should be pretty straightforward. I will again use the image to CPP website and select some of my images. So let me just select a few of those. Then down here, don't forget to check this checkbox, which is needed for the U8G2 library. Then click Generate Code and copy the output. And inside the Arduino sketch, let's click those three dots and select a new tab and create a new file called images.h file and paste the content in here. And of course, include that file in our main INO file. And we want to draw image using the drawXBMP function. So let's just copy this piece of code into our Arduino sketch, in between clearing the buffer and sending the buffer to the display. And we know that the size of all our images is 128 by 64 pixels. And for the actual data, we can use this array, which holds all the images, all 16 of those. We just need some kind of counter to know which image to display. And then we'll increase the counter by 1, and if the counter is bigger than 16, let's just set it back to 0. Actually, I think it's bigger or equal to 16. And looking at the code, I think I've copied the wrong drawing function. So the drawXBM is a function for drawing images which are stored inside the RAM. And then the drawXBMP is a function for images which are stored inside the program memory. And since our images are actually being stored inside the program memory, which is this word progmem, we need to use the XBMP function instead. And with this change, we can upload this to the Arduino board. And after a few seconds, we should see all those screenshots on this transparent LCD display again being drawn by the U8G2 library. And again, I think this looks great and definitely unusual. And this is also all for today. All the source files are on GitHub, the link is in the description. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks and bye.